So today we're going to be talking about building a computer from scratch. In this scenario videos, it will be talking about starting off. Where do I go about building a gaming computer? So I'm going to be talking to you about all the individual components, and then after you got all the components, then assembling it and showing you. My components might be slightly different from the one if you're following this video. And then after you built the computer, how to test it, because you want to know if you're getting the right kind of frame rates per second for your gaming. You want it optimized. You want to go into the BIOS and update the firmware. You also want to make sure that everything's up to date, like the graphics card, the motherboard, drivers, and when you're using the USB buses, so if you connect to your phone, it might just charge it, but it might not have no data connection properly, so you want to make sure that you don't get any errors. Also, how to install Windows 10, how to install more drives, so if you've got one or two drives that are identical, how to connect them up without writing to both drives with Windows. Not many people know that, or how to know about using RAID 0, RAID 5, RAID 10. You can ask me all questions about that. And then obviously, where do I get the games? So if I want to get Street Fighter for the PC, I want to get FIFA, I want to get Fortnite, I want to get CSGO, all those games. So we'll show you how to install that, how to optimize it, get the best graphics that you can for the budget build that you got. Kind of a budget build. This build's going to be like between 1,000 to 1,200, so it's about a budget to sort of average, bottom end of building this computer. Then once we've gone through all of that, then we're going to be doing stress testing and stuff like that to make sure that your computer's not overheating, and obviously go into the BIOS and do like the fan curves and stuff like that to make sure you can get to optimize thermal control in your system, but also keep it nice and quiet. And what else you can use your computer on top of that for the money, and also what's new for 2018. But there'll be a scenario of it, or series of videos that are going to be linked to this sort of way that I'm doing this, and hopefully I can explain this the most easiest possible way ever. So what we're going to be doing, this is going to be for a basic to advanced level of building this computer. Now what I mean by basic is that we've got a computer case that we're going to choose, which is going to be the Fractal Defined R6 white tempered glass. Now this is a medium to quite a big case, but you can it's more easy access for people that don't really know what they're doing with their computer, to get the components in, to people that are advanced to make it look nice and clean, to people that are advanced that know how to dissipate heat in a bigger case rather than a smaller case. But this is what I've gone for. So all the computer components, you can change what you want. You can ask me in the comments down below of what you would choose to build a computer. I don't mind helping you. But anyway, this is a Fractal Defined R6 White Tempered Glass Edition. And I didn't even realise it says pre-order on here. But obviously there'll be links in the description for everything where you can actually buy it if you're following this video. So the reason I've gone for this case is that you can exhaust heat from the back, at the top and at the front. It's got nice little air ducts on the side to take intake of cool air and blow around your computer case, but it depends on what graphics card you're using. If you're using a blower style one, or an exhaust graphics card, or using what's the other one? The one that you the thermal one without the fans, so it's like a thermal copper heatsink on the top of the graphics card, and then it dissipates heat. Depends on what graphics card you're using, but we're going to be using a 1050 Ti. So we're using this case because I like it. Aesthetics, it's white, it's glass, it's got a shroud as well to keep all the cable mess tidy. And you've got 7 to 8 expansion slots on the back, depending on how many graphics cards you want. But as we're using only a 1050 Ti, you're not going to really be daisy chaining them anyway. So what else we've got here? The graphics card here. So we're using NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, 4 gigabytes of memory, and this is 189.54. Obviously when we go through the video we'll price it all up so you can see, but the price has always changed. So at the day of this video, which is the 6th of no, not the 6th, it's the 5th of June 2018. But anyway, so we're going to be using that graphics card because that is an entry level starting. Well, there is a 1050, and I know there's more graphics cards coming out that are going to be adding a bit more memory to the 1050, but what it is the 1050 Ti is like an overclocked version of the 1050, which gives you this slight more edge of more frame rates per second, which is named fraps for short. So what it means is that what we look and see things in is like 30 frames per second, and it looks very smooth. So it's like loads of pictures and all in 1 second, and you count up to like 30 seconds or whatever, and basically everything looks smooth. But basically frame rates per second is like each individual stages that form a video that you look at, so something smooth. So that's what we're looking at. Well, graphics card can definitely do play all the latest games, and it will have no problems whatsoever with obviously showing the computer's power. So if you want to have 30 frames per second, which is not going to be very good for gaming, but 60 frames per second would be good, because 60 frames per second is what we're going to be like connecting to. But if it's say you're going to be playing games that are more demanding, you're going to be looking at more like between 45 to maybe 55 frames per second, but you want a continuous of 60 frames per second. But then you can upgrade the graphics card and obviously go with a little bit more faster speed. Anyway, so that's the graphics card, and then that's the case. Then we're going to go with the MSI B360 Gaming Pro carbon motherboard. So for aesthetics, it's got RGB. It's 1151 socket chip. It can go up to 2666 megahertz, and you can't overclock the memory or anything like that, but it just runs nice and stable. Because it's only a B360, you won't be able to overclock with it either. But talking about overclocking, I've also gone with this CPU, which is a Core i3 8350K. Now I wouldn't obviously go with that chip. I would more go with the 8100 or the 8400 processor, because it will get the same bang for buck and same sort of results. But because it's a K, that means I can take the CPU out and then put it in an overclocking board. But the thing is, when I went to go and buy the CPU, I wanted it for next day delivery of this video, and that was the only one that had available. The other ones were going to be like in a week or like 4 days time, and I can't wait. So I got that chip. But technically the K SKU of this chip is for overclocking, but you won't need it for overclocking. You just temporary, I just want to show you the gaming experience with it, so I've gone with that chip. And that chip's 15483. You could swap the motherboard out and go with a chip, go with the motherboard that can overclock the chip, but I've gone with that motherboard. So memory, I've gone with Corsair Vengeance memory. You can go with anything else. This is LPX 16 gig, and basically this is a 3000 megahertz. It will still work in there, but this is the first one that I picked up. But if I go to well, let's see, right, so they do have a 2660 megahertz version, but it's only 8 gig model, so you would have to pay like the same price as what you would for more overpowering memory, but it's still running at speed. But yeah, any memory you want to choose, you can go with that. You want to go RGB memory, as long as it's 16 gigabytes, it goes up to 2666, you'll have no problem. And then we've got SSD. This is the only SSD I could find at the time. It's really freaking expensive. This is a terabyte SSDs. You could probably get ones that are near enough, pretty close to that price, like 270 odd pound. But this is a pro version, and this is just an SSD. Runs at over 550 megabytes per second, read and writes. But that's what you want. This is the NAND flash version, but you can get any SSD which is fast enough to like have your storage and everything like that, and you can opt in and get a mechanical hard drive afterwards if you want to. Now I'll go for the power supply, as this is a Fractal design case. Fractal design is known for very easy put together computers, and this is why I've opted for this power supply. It's all connected together, so it hasn't got no modularity to it. Other than the 3 cables that you plug in, but the EPS connector, the graphics card cables I think, and the 24 pin all connected together if I remember rightly. This is like £76.95 for 750 watts. That's plenty of power for a gaming computer. I would have opted probably for a 500 watts, but it gives you like a little bit more. Well, to be honest with you, I've used this power supply and I feel comfortable with it, and I want you to feel comfortable with it if you're following the video. So I've gone with that power supply. It's nice and quiet and it's not too demanding. I've also gone with a Fractal design Celsius S24 water cooling pump. This is the dual version to keep it nice and cool. So I can put it at the front, I can put it at the top, but I can't put it in the back. If I was using a 120, I could use that as well, because it's not really, oh yeah, I suppose it is a demanding CPU, but the CPU is not really going to be overclocked, so the heat's not going to be demanding. So I've gone with all of that, and that's what we're going to be building. It might be slightly different when I'm start building it, and it might be slightly different from what you're going to choose as well. But yeah, for a gaming computer, you can change different CPUs. You can even go with Kaby Lake or even Skylake, which will obviously be cheaper, but there's difference of like heat distribution out of the case. And obviously with the graphics card as well, 1050 Ti, you ain't going to need to have any PCI connectors for the graphics card, so that saves on cable mess. And water cooling, the water cooling on here is going to be quite decent because it's all in one, and it looks aesthetically pleasing. It's really easy, works at AMD or Intel, and it comes with a thermal compound, so you save on money on that. But yeah, all the price is going to be down, and this is what we're going to build, and everything I said in the video about doing everything. So yeah. So I've just looked at another cheaper SSD, but I've gone for a terabyte. You can go for 100, you can go for whatever SSD, but as long as you've got enough space. If you go with 120 gigabytes and you go with a mechanical hard drive, obviously it's slower speeds from grabbing the information of like a game from the mechanical drive to the SSD. So it's better off to get an SSD straight away, but it's entirely up to you what you want to pay and your budget and stuff like that. But I've just found a Crucial MX500 on Amazon for £204.63. This whole list of products will cost you £1,163.61, something like that. So that's not a bad price, but I know loads of you are going to be like, oh, I can get this, I can get that. But technically it's all about the testing of the computer, which I'm going to be doing, which is going to be better for a benchmark. So if I can get this, the thing is, you can buy the same CPU, the same graphics card, but they've all got different silicone in, and if the case isn't and the fan curves are not like basically done properly, it means that the heat will be hotter inside the case, which means it will throttle down. When it's throttling down, that means that you'll get lower performance. If a computer is cooler, it means it can run hotter. So it's like a man that's running really quickly, if you're gonna give him energy and keep him cool, he can run a little bit longer and further, as long as he's healthy. And then a man that's not, is not gonna be able to perform as well. So that just sounds really wrong talking about it like that, but yeah. So basically that person's going to overheat more than the other one, and you get better performance. So that's not the same scenario for a computer. So you saying that you can get a better, cheaper computer, silicone might be different, and it'll be harder to beat the performance. So it's like if Intel gave me the CPU and they wanted me to do the best review possible, it will be that CPU will have the best silicone for that model. So yes, you can't really beat Intel unless you get a bin CPU, which you'd have to pay more money for. So that's the sort of scenario I'm talking about. But yeah, so the next video is going to be obviously just putting the computer together and building it, is what we're talking about now, and then doing for the tests and everything like that. But anyway, if you like this video, actually before we like this video, there is a link in the description down below where you can buy this motherboard as well, the MSI motherboard, for a good price. So even cheaper than what I've quoted there, so even better than the whole price altogether. But anyway, if you like this video, subscribe, share, like, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to buy everything down below and follow this video. It's going to be good.